What's up, everybody? Let's talk Far Cry. First I want to talk about is I got this new microphone. It's a Blue Yeti and it plugs right into my PlayStation 5. And I'm moving up in the world. I went from this little guy, $7 headphones, to a $130 microphone. I'm pretty happy about it. I still got a lot more crap to get, but it's a start. Alright guys, I want to talk about Far Cry and why I won't be playing Far Cry 6 on the channel. So, back in 2012 when Far Cry 3 came out, it was my first Far Cry I ever played. And it was also probably the greatest game I ever played. It was like a new formula on open world games, and it was a crazy experience, and I couldn't believe the stuff that was going on. Like, if you fell off a cliff, you had to pop your arm back in, or if you got shot, he'd dig out the bullet out of his arm, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, this game is amazing. I remember jumping into like a little pond or a creek, and then all of a sudden there's a alligator just, and I'm under the water, and I'm like about threw my freaking controller across the room. And it was just all around one of the greatest games I ever played at that time anyways, because it was all crazy stuff. The story of that game made that game amazing. Like, if you don't know anything about it, you were like a group of like probably spoiled ass rich kids partying some tropical island paradise, having a good time. I don't remember what happened, if you got drugged or what, but y'all got separated and kidnapped, and you wake up in a cage with your brother, and you're like trying to figure out what's going on, and your brother's an army guy, and he's like, yo, dude, follow me, do this. And you break out of this compound, and your brother ends up dying. But even after your brother's dead, you still keep running. You end up in the water or something, and some guy, one of my favorite scenes was got me jacked for the game. The guy picks you up, he tells you about all this stuff that's going down, and then he's like, then your character says, but I've never killed anybody before. And it was just like, whoa, this is gonna be good. But and the main character, Voss, he was just such a good bad guy. And then your main objective is just to go find your friends and save your friends while exploring this world, and then take over the normal Far Cry strat. You have to, take over compounds and be sneaky about it. But there was real stuff going on. Like, you'd see bad guys like having civilians to gunpoint or walking them on the beach, and you're like, in that era, in that time, it was so far above, for the time. It was, they didn't have stuff like that. And then the end of the game, you had these two huge decisions to make, and I don't want to spoil it if you guys have never heard about Far Cry, so I'm not going to talk about it. But it, maybe I shouldn't even said that, but the story in that game by far was better than all of the ones I've played. What else was great about it? Oh, you got a squirrel suit, and you could fly around, and I remember burning up a marijuana field while listening to reggae music. All sorts of stuff. I'm kind of wanting to play it on the channel. Let me know in the comments if you've never watched Far Cry or played Far Cry, if you'd want me to play Far Cry 3. Because I would be down to do that game again. Because that game, I've thought about playing it. So I might play it again if you guys want it. But, so after that, I was just like, dude, Far Cry is freaking amazing. And they came out with Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4, you're more up in the mountains. And the story is like, your mom was married to a pagan man. I think that's the gist of that. I can't remember, but it was, I mean, your dad is the bad guy. And the whole Far Cry trick, if you just, he's like, hey, wait here a minute. When you first meet him, you meet him at the very beginning of the game, and if you actually listen to him and wait, he's like, here you go, like, here's the keys to my place, and you get all this stuff, because he's your dad. and he's not. But instead, you decide to, if you want to actually play the game, you decide to go against your dad because you know he's a bad guy, and then try to take back his land. Yeah, so the whole idea of Far Cry 4 was to just take down your dad. I mean, at least the first one was, the third one was, you know, your friends are kidnapped and you have to go save them. And that's a huge goal. I mean, that you're actually doing something that feels worthwhile. But, you know, I was super pumped about it. Like, oh, dude, the next Far Cry's coming out. And then it was just kind of like, eh. I mean, there's some cool things. The rappelling and stuff was cool in that game. I don't know if I cared much about flying. Yeah, you can make it like a helicopter and you fly around. I don't know if I really even cared that much about that, but I mean, obviously the scenery and stuff was good, but and there's the hunting elements in the games and actually like skinning the animal. That's all that stuff is cool, but didn't change much of the formula, and it just, I don't know, for some reason me it was a little more bland compared to the third one. I don't know if it's because I already experienced the third one or if it was just the story itself. But then they came out with Far Cry Primal. I'm like, all right, dudes, let's do this. It looked kind of cool. It was like back in the year one, I guess. You're cavemen. Cavemen that didn't know how to talk and shit. And you can control animals, spirit animals. But that wasn't fun at all. I beat it. Didn't enjoy it. You had like, you could get a bow and a spear, and that's how you had to take down people. Just the gameplay, the fighting just wasn't fun, and any aspect of that game, it wasn't fun at all. I don't even remember what the story was about. I think you just had to take out bad tribes. I don't even know if there was a big boss bad guy even in that game, to be honest. I mean, they obviously had their probably big leaders, but I even put that game down for a while and I went back to it and I ended up beating it, but I don't think I enjoyed it really. But, you know, I'm like, you know, Far Cry 5's coming out. I'm like, I'm going to give this game another chance. And it was based in Montana, and I live by Montana. So, you know, I actually talked about some of the places that I've been to in there, and I was like, oh, dude, this is going to be sweet. And that was about, the bad guy was John Seed, and he kind of took over this area. Is it called Hope, Montana? And he turned it into a religious cult. You know, he had all these followers and stuff. And you're a cop, kind of a rookie cop, and you walk in there with your other cops to bring him down to arrest him. Obviously, that doesn't happen. Your helicopter ends up getting shot down, and then you're in the middle of this crap, and you have to escape. But, yeah, I don't know. I had the least amount of fun with that game. I mean, it had, you know, you had your guns and stuff, and I didn't even beat it. I did Gamefly a lot back then, and I just sent it back after a while. I don't know how far. I think I got like halfway through it before I just said, I'm not playing this game. It was just crazy. I was playing in hard mode, and it was pretty difficult. But everywhere you went, it was just like you couldn't just walk around. All of a sudden, you're getting shot at by a million guys just constantly, and it was just crazy hectic. And the story, you had to bring down his family, the Seed family, I guess. And it just, I don't know. I had no fun at all. I mean, so now we have Far Cry 6 coming out. And everybody's like, ooh, Far Cry 6. I mean, I know it's going to be a big game. I know tons of people like the Far Cry series. But it's based in like Cuba. It's its own little place based in like, you know, with a dictator and stuff, and you're a rebel person and you have to bring down the dictator president, and he has a little son, but the dictator, he is played by Giancarlo Esposito, if I can say that correctly. But he is off of Breaking Bad, which if you guys ever watch Breaking Bad, it's a pretty dang good show. So I recommend it. But he's played by him, so he looks like he might be an actual good villain, because it's really been missing that in my, compared to Voss in the third one. And since he's a pretty famous actor and stuff, and he looks like he's going to be pretty cool. So hopefully it is cool, but I don't want games to be bad. I don't want Far Cry 6 to be bad. It's not going to be bad, but I don't know if it's going to be for me or this channel. I mean, I'm sure there's a decent story in it, but I have to decide, do I spend the $60 on this game, or do I get this other game? Because all these games cost so much money, and it's hard to buy all this stuff. But you got to buy the new games, if I want to get more subscribers and stuff, because people ain't looking up old games. But those are the ones I can afford, because they're only like $15, $20. But I don't think it's going to hit the mark where it needs to, in my opinion. Kind of like Call of Duty. I just got done playing like a few hours of Call of Duty Vanguard, and at first I was like, oh, this is awesome, but then I started getting bored playing it. So I don't know. Call of Duties don't really hit the mark for me anymore, especially compared to Apex, but right now Apex is broken. But I really hope Far Cry 6 is good, and I'll be like, damn it, I should have bought it and played it on this channel. But before I did this, I used to wait and watch all the reviews and stuff before I would come out and purchase a game. But now I have to hit that game beforehand, just so I can, get those people that are looking for gameplay videos of it and stuff. So I just think I'm going to wait on Far Cry 6. If you guys want me to play it, leave it down in the comments. Doesn't mean I will play it, but I'll definitely think about it. I know Sniper wants me to play Resident Evil 7. Does anybody else want to watch that? Just curious. Well, I just wanted to have a discussion about Far Cry, and I want to know mainly what you guys think of the Far Cry games if you've played them. And if you want to watch me play Far Cry 3, because I would be down to play Far Cry 3 again. So just let me know. My name is Beaver, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.